In FB Live and TikTok Live. We are broadcasting simultaneous live on both platforms. And here are the top news for today, summary of our top news. Gasoline, diesel prices up. Rice farmers want LFA regulatory powers back. Philippines to import more pork to address shortage. China contends with weakened Putin after Wagner mutiny. Russia presses attack despite Wagner revolt, Ukraine soldiers say. U.S. airport worker dies after ingested by plane engine. MMDA, no number coding on Idle Adha. Ultra Lotto pack to hit 338 million. Mayon shows sudden increased seismic activity. And finally, in sports, Aussies too much for the Jesus-led Gilas women. This headline news is brought to you by Equilibrium Probiotics. Gasoline diesel prices up. Report by Richmond Mercurio for the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Oil firms are raising pump prices today, including an increase of over 1 peso per liter for diesel and kerosene. In separate advisories yesterday, oil firms said that prices of gasoline would go up by 20 centavos per liter, diesel by 1 peso and 0.05 centavo per liter, and kerosene by 1 peso and 20 centavos per liter. The adjustments will take effect at 6 a.m. today. So may ilang minutos pa kung naiiwan. Pwede pa kung magkarga yung mga magkakarga kung malapit na yung gusto rin sa inyo. 6 a.m. today for most companies except for Caltex. Caltex, which implemented the adjustment at 12:01 a.m. earlier today. And Clean Fuel, which will implement it at 4:01 p.m. also today. Department of Energy, or DOE, Oil Industry Management Bureau Director Rino Abad earlier said the upward adjustments in global oil prices were due to the prevailing threat from Saudi Arabia's pronouncement to cut production by 1 million barrels per day by July. This week's domestic pump price increases, which reflect the movement in the international oil market, come following a slight reduction implemented by oil companies last week. Last week, oil companies reduced prices of gasoline by 0.35 centavo per liter, diesel by 10 centavo per liter, and kerosene by 30 centavos per liter. The adjustments resulted in a year-to-date net decrease of 4 peso and 0.05 centavo per liter for diesel and 6 pesos 35 centavo per liter for kerosene based on DOE data. Gasoline, on the other hand, has a year-to-date net increase of 6 pesos and 35 centavos per liter. So yung mga magkakarga po, may panahon pa para makapagabol. Ito po, balita sa mga ka-agri. Rice farmers want NFA regulatory powers back. Report by Ramon Efren Lazaro to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Farmer leaders in San Miguel, Bulacan are clamoring for the return of the regulatory functions of the National Food Authority to prevent possible price hikes in the coming weeks. Simeon Sioson, chairman of the 4SM Multipurpose Cooperative and former chairman of the Federation of Central Luzon Farmers Cooperatives, said the NFA should also be given the power to import rice that can be sold to the public at 27 pesos and 32 pesos a kilo, like it used to do before the implementation of the rice tariffication law that clipped the agency's regulatory functions. She also urged lawmakers to restore the agency's function to import cheap rice that should be made immediately to have a better buffer stock during the lean months of June, July, and August, and September, so consumers can avail themselves of cheap NFA rice. Raul Montemayor, national manager of the Federation of Free Farm Farmers, told the Star that the rice harvest season is already over and that the majority of farmers have no more palay grains to sell. They sold at a high price last harvest season, so they recovered some of their expenses, Montemayor said in Filipino, adding that this is the reason why local prices have risen. Prices rising. Prices of local commercial rice are starting to rise as palay rice harvest season is almost over. Wholesale rice traders in Intercity Industrial Estate and Golden City Business Park in Bukawi, Bulacan, two of the major rice trading centers in Luzon, confided to the Star that average palay prices nowadays are pegged at an average of 26 pesos to 27 pesos per kilo. They explained that processing palay to rice at an average recovery rate of 60% at 26 pesos per kilo translates to a wholesale production cost of 1,993 pesos and 33 centavos per 50 kilo sack or 39 peso and 87 centavos per kilo. At 27 pesos, this translates to a wholesale production cost of 2,070 pesos per 50 kilo sack of or 41 peso and 40 centavos. With an average wholesale profit margin of 1 peso per kilo for the sub-retailer and 2 pesos for retailers, average consumer price reaches 43 pesos and 87 centavos to 45 pesos and 40 centavos per kilo. On the other hand, Samahang Industriya and Agricultura President Rosendo Shaw explained that 10 days ago, palay prices at the farm gate were pegged at 23 peso per kilo, reaching 39 peso and 36 centavos when it reaches the rice miller, before climbing to 42 pesos and 36 to 43 pesos and 36 per kilo at the retailer level. No effect yet. An official of the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration, or PAGASA, on Monday said the lower rainfall phenomenon of El Nino is not yet in effect and that rice farmers would have enough rainfall for the July to September planting season. There will be near to normal rain from July to September 2023, PAGASA Assistant Weather Services Chief Annalyn Solis, said at the Kabuhay and Media Forum. She added that the chances of feeling the effects of El Nino are getting higher, but the lower rainfall pattern in the coming months has not been established yet. Meanwhile, former before chief lawyer Assis Perez urged rice farmers to keep planting palay in the months of July, August, and September, as he stressed that El Nino dry weather phenomenon will still occur in October. He said rice farmers must have clear information about the start of El Nino in October, and they still have 3 months to plant. However, this communication is discouraging farmers to plant due to fears of impact of El Nino on the crops. Most people think that El Nino is here, therefore let's not plant rice. In contrast to science and history are saying, El Nino will bring more rain before it starts, but the forecast is by October. There will be less rainfall, but not entirely no rain. Tugon Kabuhayan Co-Convener Norbert Chingwangco said, some rice farmers have already stopped planting rice due to concerns that the weather phenomenon would start in July. Farmers relying on rain decided not to plant rice. Because of El Nino, there are a number of areas here in Quezon that did not plant this season. Federation of Farmers in Quiao, Quezon President Danilo Guevara said. For his part, Pambansang Samahan ng Kilusan ng Magsasaka Legal and Policy Advocacy Officer Rene Carilla said clear and proper information will empower farmers in proper planting. Additional reports from Vanessa Rivera and Michelle Zoleta. Again, a news for our Kaagri. Philippines to import more pork to address shortage. Reports by Bella Cariaso to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The country needs to resort to more importation of pork to address the shortage of supply amid the outbreak of African swine fever in many parts of the country, particularly in the Visayas, a ranking official of the Department of Agriculture said yesterday. At the press conference, Agriculture Assistant Secretary for Operations Arnel de Mesa assured the public that the DA is coordinating with the private sector to manage the volume of pork products to be sourced from other countries. In terms of supply, because of the ASF, we really need to import pork products until the end of the year, De Mesa said. Based on latest data from the Bureau of Animal Industry, or BUY, total pork importation reached 229,201 kilos from January to May. The DA continues to manage the importation together with the private sector so that we will know the volume that we need to import and the total production, De Mesa said. According to De Mesa, the DA expects this year's pork imports to be lower than last year's. At the same time, De Mesa said a declaration of state of calamity can be done only under certain conditions amid the spread of ASF. The declaration, of course, will depend on the national government, De Mesa added. Agap Party List Rep. Nicanor Briones has pushed for the declaration of state of calamity in the entire country to allow the allocation of funds for the importation of ASF vaccine, as the disease is now affecting areas in the Visayas after causing devastation in Luzon. We were able to control the cases in Visayas. The cases have already decreased compared to before, De Mesa added. He said livestock and poultry production grew by 4.1% in 2022 compared to 2021, so hog raisers in Luzon were able to repopulate after being hit by ASF. Based on our data, we were able to recover. The livestock and poultry production grew by 4.1% in 2022, the MESA pointed out. For her part, my Assistant Director Arlene Vitiaco said that based on laboratory tests, ASF caused the death of piglets in Antique. Antique is one of the provinces affected by the ASF. We have laboratory tests. There was already confirmation based on the laboratory tests, she added. Vitiaco said that the Buhay continues to conduct surveillance to control the outbreak of ASF in the Visayas. Based on monitoring of the DA, retail prices of pork ham range between 280 and 390 per kilo. For tiempo between 340 pesos and 390 pesos per kilo. Mamahal na naman po ang baboy. Moving on to our global updates. And the global updates is brought to you by Hidden Vietnam. China contends with weakened Putin after Wagner mutiny. Report by Oliver Houghton from the Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. Beijing, China. A once-in-a-generation security crisis in Russia compounded fears in Beijing after that a strategic partner central to its global ambitions is not as stable as it hoped, analysts say. China has emerged as Russia's most important ally since Moscow invaded Ukraine in February 2022, leaving it internationally isolated. During a March summit in Moscow, President Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin declared that their vast countries' ties were entering a new era. This weekend's crisis in Russia saw private mercenary group Wagner chief Evgeny Prigozhin try to storm Moscow. China weighed in on Sunday evening, well over 24 hours after the mutiny began, with Beijing pledging its support for Russia's efforts in protecting national stability. The foreign ministry also said the issue was an internal affair. By the time the ministry issued its statement, the rebellion in Russia had been quelled, with the Kremlin announcing Prigozhin would leave for Belarus and that Moscow would not prosecute him or Wagner's members. Analysts say they believe Beijing opted for a wait-and-see approach to the crisis, driven in part by an understanding that the rebellion exposed fissures in Putin's grip. China has already been surprised at Russia's poor military performance in Ukraine. Susan Thornton, a former senior U.S. diplomat specializing in Asia, told AFP by email. This event will likely be seen as a further indicator of weakness, decay. Quite shocking. China's leaders have long framed Putin's Russia as a bulwark against the West. Prior to the latest unrest, Beijing likely did not doubt that Putin is the undisputed leader of Russia. Victor Xi, an expert on Chinese politics at the UC San Diego, told AFP. But with his authority challenged in such a blatant way, Xi said, China will now think very hard about power dynamics in Russia. China is Russia's largest economic partner, with trade between them reaching a record $190 billion last year, according to Chinese customs data. China's imports of Russian crude since the invasion of Ukraine have almost doubled, customs data showed earlier this month. Beijing says it is a neutral party in the Ukraine war, but has been criticized by Western countries for refusing to condemn Moscow and for its deepening partnership. It was probably quite shocking for Beijing and Xi Jinping personally that Russia's internal defense mechanisms all failed. Bjorn Alexander Dubin, an expert in Beijing Moscow ties at China's Jing University, AFP, told AFP, it will certainly want to learn lessons from that. A new low. China has long grappled with dramatic events in its northern neighbor. Its leadership pointing to the sudden collapse of the Soviet Union and the chaos that followed as vindicating Beijing's rigid system of governance. China is used to those dramatic changes in Russia, though may not necessarily like them. You being a professor at Wittenberg University. The weekend's events might also accelerate Beijing's efforts to play peacemaker in a bid to end the Ukraine war on Moscow's terms. The latest events are likely leading to a new low in Chinese assessments of Russia's state capacity and political stability in Russia, UC San Diego's chief said. This is a clear sign that the invasion of Ukraine is undermining fundamental stability in Russia. According to Alexander Gabuev, director of the Carnegie Russia Eurasia Center, China may have calibrated its response in part out of concerns of embarrassing an ally. China treads very, very carefully, he said. I think that the insurrection in Russia came as a surprise. You see, the Chinese media and everybody is very cautious in the official statements. Other developments from the Ukraine-Russia conflict. Russia presses attack despite Wagner revolt, Ukraine soldier says. Report by Anna Malpas to the Agence France Press. Near Bakhmut, Ukraine. Ukrainian soldiers returning from the front line on Sunday said the revolt by Russian mercenary group Wagner had not noticeably affected fighting around the town of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine. AFP saw a stream of injured soldiers coming back from the battlefield, with a surgeon treating soldiers wounded in fighting near Bakhmut, saying there had been more patients in recent days. Most people, most military, understand very well that the circus from Russia is still here. They didn't go out. They stay in the same positions, said Nazar, a 26-year-old bearded soldier parked at a service station on the road leading out of the area. The town of Bakhmut was almost entirely captured by Russia this summer, in a success largely credited to the Wagner forces. Fighting continues in nearby areas. An armed rebellion by Wagner's chief, Yevgeny Prigozhin, who had vowed on Friday to topple the Russian military leadership, sparked Russia's largest political crisis in decades. At the weekend, Prigozhin ordered his forces to take over a key military headquarters in southern Russia and launch a march on Moscow before suddenly telling his mercenaries on Saturday to turn around after a deal mediated by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko. The aborted revolt has left many in Russia and abroad stunned. Some, like Nazar, suggested the publicity around Wagner's attempt was intended to trick Ukrainian troops. Russia is trying to anyway to throw us out of control, including the fake news on social media, Nazar said. We are returning now from the Bakhmut direction, and we can say that fighting is going on in both areas of Klishivka and Bakhmut, he said. It, as it attacked yesterday, Russia continued to attack today. 60 to 80 cases per day. Another soldier who did not give his name but said he had been fighting in the area for 6 months said Wagner troops in the area had kept fighting along with Storm Z units using prisoners also set up by Prigozhin. Some small groups of Russians left positions, said Alexander, another soldier returning from combat in the Bakhmut zone. But he said that for Ukraine, the fighting is going on according to plan. At a medical facility used to stabilize injured soldiers evacuated from a frontline area near Bakhmut, Dimitrov, a surgeon from the 5th Storm Brigade, said he had seen an increase in patients. The last 3 days, the number of cases is increasing from our side, he said, adding this was because we attacked the Russian things. It's like a wave, because for example, we have an assaulting period for our forces. We have more cases. On average, we have at this point 60 to 80 cases per day, Dimitro said, adding that most had sustained concussions. AFP journalists saw 4 wounded soldiers arriving in around an hour. One was very seriously injured and risked losing both his legs, said the combat medic, also called Nazar. He said the soldier, his face still covered with soil from an explosion, was lucky to be alive thanks to a swift evacuation. Shoot to kill. Another newly arrived patient had a leg pierced by dozens of pieces of shrapnel. Nazar said 2 soldiers from his unit had been killed that morning, dying before they could be evacuated. One was a father of 2 young children. Last week, 5 men were killed, the medic said. Nazar, a dental surgeon in civilian life, said that his view Russian forces were now aiming to kill Ukrainian troops rather than take them prisoner. Before they could, if they could take someone alive, they would, he said. Now they just shoot to kill. And finally, on our global updates, U.S. airport worker dies after ingested by plane engine. Report by Agency France Press to the Philippine Star. Washington, United States. U.S. regulators said Sunday they are investigating an incident in which a Texas airport worker was killed after being sucked into a passenger plane engine. A Delta flight had arrived in San Antonio, Texas from Los Angeles on Friday night and was taxiing to the gate with one engine on when a worker was ingested into that engine. The National Transportation Safety Board told AFP in a statement. The NTSB is continuing to gather information about the incident, about the event, it said. The worker was employed by Unity Aviation, a company the airline giant contracts with for ground crew operations, according to local media. Delta told the San Antonio broadcaster Ken's 5 that the company was deeply saddened by Friday night's events and that it is cooperating with authorities as they begin their investigation. Unity Aviation told the broadcaster the incident was a tragic accident. From our initial investigation, the incident was unrelated to UNIP's operational processes, safety procedures, and policies, the company said. On Wednesday, regional carrier Piedmont Airlines was fined $15,625 by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, another regulatory body, for the death of a ground crew worker last year in a similar incident. Proper training and enforcement and safety procedures would have prevented this tragedy, an OSHA official said. Piedmont is a subsidiary of carrier American Airlines. Moving on to our regional updates. And the regional updates is brought to you by The Shed. MMDA, no number coding on idle hack. MMDA, no number coding on idle hack. Report by Gio to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. The number coding scheme will be suspended on June 28 after Malacanang declared it a regular holiday in observance of Idul Adha or the Feast of Sacrifice, the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority announced yesterday. This means that all cars, including those with plate numbers ending in 5 and 6 that are usually prohibited every Wednesday, can traverse major roads in Metro Manila during the holiday. Bukas na po yun, Idol Adha. Wala akong pasok. Ultra Lotto pot hit 338 million. Ang laki-laki po nun. Manila, Philippines, the jackpot of the Ultra Lotto 658 may reach 338 million. And this report is brought to you by Rainier Alan Ronda of the Philippine Star. So the jackpot of the Ultra 658 may reach 338 million by tonight's draw, as no player has won first prize for more than 3 months. The Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office said yesterday there was no winner in Sunday's Ultra Lotto 658 draw, which had a winning combination of 21, 40, 54, 29, 06, 32, and carried the jackpot of 325,862,813 pesos and 20 centavos, said Melquiades Robles, PCSO General Manager and Vice Chairman of the Board. 27 bettors won 120,000 each by guessing 5 of the 6-digit winning combination. There is a 20% tax reform for acceleration and inclusion law tax levied on lotto winnings above 100 or about 10,000 pesos. About 10,000 pesos. The Ultra Lotto 650 jackpot was last won on March 12 when a bettor in Mekawayan City, Bulacan won 49.5 million peso jackpot. The Ultra Lotto 650 is drawn every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Kaya na po, makakahabol pa for tonight. Finally, from our regional updates, Mayon shows sudden increase in seismic activity, report by Bella Carriazo to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. State volcanologists detected a sudden increased seismic activity and ground deformation of Mayon volcano yesterday afternoon, prompting them to advise residents within the 7 to 8 kilometer radius to be ready for evacuation. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, said the increased seismicity was accompanied by a noticeably sharp jump in ground tilt on the west sector of the edifice, which started on June 25. A sudden change in monitoring parameters has been detected and is being closely monitored, PHIVOLCS said. Earlier, 102 mild quakes were recorded around the volcano from 5 a.m. to 3 p.m., indicating that magma continued to ascend to the summit crater. The earthquakes were accompanied by 8 dome collapse pyroclastic density currents that lasted 3 minutes and 263 rockfall events. Paul Alanis, PHIVOLCS resident volcanologist at the Luzon Hill Observatory in the city, said the 102 quakes had low energy and could not trigger strong explosions. These detected earthquakes still lack energy to trigger a strong explosion, but of course we are closely watching Mayon to determine what could take place next, Alanis said. He said the quakes were not as strong compared to the ones recorded in 2018, days before the volcano erupted. We are also observing other parameters to determine where Mayon's abnormal condition will proceed, including the sulfur dioxide emissions, Alani said. Lava flows remains at 1,300 meters and 1,200 meters along Lisi and Bonga gullies, respectively, from the summit crater, while collapsed debris were still at 3,300 meters or the 250-meter wide crater. The PHIVOLCS also recorded 925 tons of sulfur dioxide and plume emissions that rose 100 meters high. Despite these increases in values of the abnormal signs, Mayon remains within alert level 3, Anani said. PHIVOLCS said heavy rain could generate channel confined lahars and sediment-laden stream flows. Pilots have been advised to avoid flying close to the volcano's summit, as ash generated by any sudden eruption can be hazardous to aircraft. Based on the current prevailing wind pattern, ashfall events may most likely occur on the south side of the volcano, PHIVOLCS said. Meanwhile, the number of families displaced by the increased activity of Mayon has reached 10,642 families or 41,483 individuals. Of the number, 5,354 families or 18,706 people are staying in 28 evacuation centers. The government said it has spent more than 101.1 million pesos in assistance for the evacuees, with additional reports from Seti Matera, Michael Punumbayan, and Rudy Santos. finally on the sports. And this update is sponsored by NCCN. Aussies too much for the Jesus-led Gilas women. Report by John Brian Ulandain to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Gilas Filipinas women, in spite of the moves from Vanessa de Jesus, took a beat down against host Australia, 105-34. To open its campaign on a flat note in the 2023 FIBA Women's Asia Cup Division A Monday night at the Quay Center in Sydney. The Nationals already struggled in the first half at 56-23, bled for just 11 points in the succeeding half for a massive 71-point beating in Group B. De Jesus, the ace guard from Duke University in the U.S. NCAA, was the lone bright spot by scoring more than half of Gilas' output by 18 points on 4 triples. Perennial gunners Janine Contejos, Kate Castillo, and Jack Animan misfired with no points to show, as Afril Bernardino and Franz Cabintin had 4 points against the taller and stronger Opals, who raced to a 37 start and never looked behind. In contrast, 6 players scored in double digits for the Australians, led by Darcy Gavin, with 18 points and 8 rebounds in only 18 minutes of play. Gilas was overpowered in almost every department, shooting only 19% from the field against Australia's efficient 53% clip. The Filipino Belles also trailed by massive gaps in rebounds, 62-22, assists, 31-3, second chance points, 19-0, points in the paint, 42-8, and bench points, 53-9. Gilas will try to bounce back against no less than the 5-time champion Japan Tuesday at 3 p.m. before wrapping up its campaign against Chinese Taipei Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Only the top team from each group will book direct tickets to the semifinals, with the second and third ranked teams needing to slug it out first in the qualification to the semis. Slugging it out in Group B are China, South Korea, New Zealand, and Lebanon in Group A. As the best 8 teams rumble for an automatic ticket to the 2024 Paris Olympics. And that concludes our news updates for today, June 27th, Tuesday. And here again are our updates. So we have the summary of the updates for today. Gasoline, diesel prices up. Rice farmers want NFA regulatory powers back. Philippines to import more corn to address shortage. China contends with weakened Putin after Wagner mutiny. Russia presses attack despite Wagner revolt, Ukraine soldiers say. U.S. airport worker dies after ingested by plane engine. MMDA, no number coding on Idol Adha. Ultra Lotto thought to hit 338 million pesos. Mayon shows sudden increased seismic activity. And finally in sports, Aussies too much for the Jesus-led Gilas women. Time check, it's 6:24. To know more about our sponsors for our live streaming, please scan the QR codes that would bring you to their home pages. So our sponsors for our MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga, we have Equilibrium Probiotics leading the pack. The Shed, Hidden Vietnam, and finally NCCM here in Paligay. And also, we have an announcement for the Summer Smile, Operation Summer Smile. The screening will be on June 29. June 29 na po yung screening for would-be patients. Summer Smile is for children inflicted with cleft lip and palate. Cleft lip and palate po. So, meron po tayong operation na magaganap ngayong dating ng July. Pero mahalaga po muna magpatala muna at magpa-screen muna. Yung screening natin this coming June 29 will be held at the Congressman Henry Cojuangco Memorial District Hospital in San Julian, Moncada. Doon po gaganapin yung ating screening. At this Summer Smile is organized by PICE or Philippine Institute of Civil Engineers, the Aslak ng Pag-asa Tarlac Incorporated, Friends 78 from the College of the Holy Spirit, and of course, this will not be possible without the Philippine Band of Mercy and, of course, our provincial government through the Governor's Office, Governor Susan Yap. Bati po muna tayo doon sa mga nag-join. Shoutout muna. So, Rose is watching. Good morning, Rose. I hope you're better now. Sana magaling ka na. Then si Admin Sol is also watching. Si Telma Abellar is watching. Good morning po. Si Manong Bert. Good morning po, Manong Bert. And si Kuya Dennis Bugtay is watching. Good morning po, Kuya Dennis. Kumusta na? And then si Manny Reyes is also watching. Good morning, bro. At si Ate Cho is also watching. Si Ate Baby. Ate Baby, good morning po. Kumusta na po kayo? And of course, for those who joined us in TikTok, so we have Ear, Teacher Ear, Marianne Lemon, and Miss Lee 2050. Thank you very much. And what's this? FFF, join, FFF. So para po sa lahat ng mga nag-join, nanood sa TikTok, thank you very much. And si Maria Chavez, thanks and good morning. Thanks for joining me in the daily program of MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. For tomorrow's episode of Agri-Talakayan, our guest will be none other than former DE Secretary Manny Piñon. Hope you can join us tomorrow po. Our live stream will start at 7 a.m. tomorrow and will end at roughly 9. So maganda po yung mga topics na pag-uusapan natin tomorrow. Hope you will be able to join us. So dyan na po tayo at dyan na po tayo nagtatapos dito sa ating programang MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hope you have a good day today, Tuesday, and stay safe everyone. God bless.